Hey, what's up guys, it's Matt, welcome back, and today we are talking about Zack Snyder's Justice League. Only 4 years later, $70 million in reshoots, and Zack Snyder's vision of Justice League is finally here, and it's 4 hours long, which is kind of ridiculous when you think about it. I mean, Avengers Endgame was only like just over 3 hours, so 4 hours for a superhero movie is super long. I have to say, going into this, I didn't dislike Joss Whedon's Justice League. It wasn't great, but when I left the theatre, I was like, yeah, you know what, I enjoyed that as a superhero movie. Could have been so much better, but yeah, I had a good time watching it. That being said though, I've never watched it again. Ever. I've rewatched Man of Steel loads of times, I've even rewatched Batman v Superman quite a few times, and most of the Marvel movies I've definitely seen more than once. But Joss Whedon's Justice League, I've only ever watched that one time. So, what can be said about Zack Snyder's Justice League? Personally, for me, it was considerably better than what Joss Whedon put out there. Yeah, the runtime is a bit long, and I'll say right off the bat that this is clearly a labour of love for Zack Snyder, and it is clearly for the fans. And when I say for the fans, I mean people who, you know, are actually kind of invested in what he was trying to do with the DCEU. If you're just a casual moviegoer who, you know, you see these superhero movies, but you don't really care too much about the characters, you're not invested in the characters, this movie's definitely not for you. But if you are a hardcore DC fan, if you really believed in what Zack Snyder was trying to do with it, I think you're going to be very pleased with this movie. For the most part, the film does follow the same beats as Joss Whedon's Justice League, essentially. Steppenwolf comes to Earth, he has to find the mother boxes, he's going to put them together, Justice League have to stop him. Minor spoilers. Are there really spoilers? I mean, as I said, it pretty much follows most of the same steps as the previous Justice League movie. The Justice League comes together, they need to revive Superman, he goes a bit weird, Superman comes back around, and then they all come together at the end and they kick ass and they stop Steppenwolf. Obviously, this being 4 hours long and Zack Snyder's version, there's a bit more going on, and the ending is kind of significantly different from the ending of Joss Whedon's Justice League. And it's just kind of a shame that we're never ever gonna get to see what he kind of had planned. I know that he's since released kind of a synopsis of what he planned for Justice League 2 and what he planned for Justice League 3. Yeah, I think it's just a shame that we're never actually gonna get to see it. The performances in this movie were, I mean, just everything in this movie was a hell of a lot better than the last version. Stuff that people nitpicked about the original one. For example, Ray Fisher, Cyborg. He did not have much to do in the first Justice League movie, whereas in this version of it, he actually plays such a bigger, pivotal role. And it's kind of surprising actually to see how much Joss Whedon threw out and still managed to make a cohesive movie, because Cyborg in this is such a big part of it. And I'm super happy for Ray Fisher. Cyborg kind of, in this version, got to be fully realised on screen. I mean, I thought he was good in the original version that got released, but this just, elevated him so much further. I think the same can be said for Ezra Miller as the Flash as well. While he was like super kooky and weird in the original cut, in this version, he is still kind of the weird kooky one, but it's not as extreme. He seems more like a normal human being. His character seems more believable. He's still equally the fun one of the group, but it's not kind of weird. You know, that whole weird scene where he like falls on top of Wonder Woman and it's just kind of dead awkward, and so, like, all that's gone. Ben Affleck as Batman as well. Gone are his kind of awkward, weird humour that they tried to kind of make him have in the original cut. It's like, yeah, he still cracks one or two jokes, but they're more like, yeah, I can imagine Batman saying that, rather than Batman is actually straight up trying to crack jokes. It's like, no, it's just kind of like a snarky line that Batman would say. It's much more believable. Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman, absolutely brilliant in this. I have to say, the kind of opening set piece that she has, where she's sort of saving all the hostages, I enjoyed that in the original version, but in this version, Zack Snyder has just elevated it so much more. Obviously, we all know Zack Snyder loves his slow-mo sequences, but the way that he does it and the way that he kind of handles Wonder Woman and her powers and stuff in it, it's far more exciting to watch than what was put out in the previous version. Jason Momoa as Aquaman, he's not kind of the bringer of comedy so much in this version of things. He still has some funny moments. He does have a nice back and forth with Ezra Miller as the Flash, but he doesn't have, like, he's funny, but he's not overly humorous, and I think he's more believable. He feels more grounded in this version of things. Henry Cavill as Superman as well. No CGI mustache in this one, thank God. Yeah, I've always rated Henry Cavill as Superman. Man of Steel, I absolutely loved. I think is arguably one of the best superhero movies. I absolutely love that movie, and yeah, kind of to see the continuation of Henry Cavill's journey as Superman in this more fully realised as well was once again just absolutely brilliant to see. Of course, you've got the supporting cast. Jeremy Irons as Alfred, always has some great witty lines. Amy Adams as Lois Lane, kind of similar path to the original version. She's not really given much to do here. Obviously, she plays a key moment in kind of bringing Superman back around to who he is, but she's not really given too much to do here, which is weird because obviously all the seeds are planted that Lois is the key. But I guess that's something that was probably going to be explored more in Justice League 2 and in Justice League 3. Throughout the movie, the cinematography is absolutely brilliant. Obviously, Zack Snyder has loved throughout this kind of drawing comparisons between Superman and Jesus, and that's not something that he shies away from in this, of course. I think it works out for the tone that he was going for with these movies. You know, realistically, what would the world be like if Superman exists? Like, yeah, he would be seen as kind of this god-esque biblical figure. So yeah, the cinematography was amazing. I was actually surprised to see as well that a lot of the kind of scenes that were in the original version actually turns out they belong to Zack Snyder. None of that was Joss Whedon stuff. That was Zack Snyder's stuff. And it's kind of really refreshing to see that a lot of that's stayed in there. So at 4 hours, this is obviously a lot longer than the original. Zack Snyder has pretty much said that everything he filmed, he's used. And then obviously he's had the 70 million to do reshoots and he's put it all in there just to appease the fans. There are probably some bits that could be taken out that wouldn't kind of take away from the film too much. But as I said, there is so much more character development, especially for the likes of Cyborg. And again, you know, it can kind of feel that in the sort of earlier half of the film, it can kind of, if you're not a fan, it's going to bog it down for you, but if you are a fan, you're going to really love it and you're going to really appreciate the depth that they kind of go in onto that character. And yeah, again, kind of for each member of the league. The action set pieces throughout, again, are fantastic. The kind of opening one where Steppenwolf appears at the Amazonians and they kind of have this sort of chase where they keep throwing the mother box to each other, is just so much more, you know what, actually all the action throughout the movie, but especially in that, is just so much more brutal all the way throughout. It's just better. It's just better. Overall, for me, the film just felt epic. That's kind of the only word I can think to describe it. The 4 hours didn't feel like a slog to get through. Admittedly, I did have a break halfway through, which is actually quite easy to do since the movie's broken up into 6 parts. But it didn't feel like a slog to get through. I enjoyed every moment of it, and just from the get-go, to me, just kind of like goosebumps, this felt epic. And at the end of the day, it's a Justice League movie. You got Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, you know, Flash, Aquaman, all these heroes on screen together, and it should feel epic. And that's what the Snyder Cut did. It felt epic. The bits that you got to see of Darkseid, who was of course eventually going to be really the main big bad, just felt epic. The flashbacks to when Darkseid tried to previously take over Earth, and you got like the Amazonians and Zeus and Green Lanterns there. What Zack Snyder was trying to create was this epic story. I feel like it's a shame that he's never going to get to fully see it to fruition. But I think what you now have, as I guess arguably would be called the Snyder trilogy, Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, which is, yeah, arguably, you know, there's some holes in that. But I think his Justice League, to wrap it off, is brilliant. I think for me, overall, I could, even though it's 4 hours long, I could definitely see myself rewatching this in the future. I'll probably rewatch it relatively soon, in all honesty, to see if I can pick up on anything that I kind of missed first time around. But for me, this is now the definitive story of the Justice League cinematically so far. Obviously, God knows what DC's working on behind the scenes in the moment. But yeah, if I have to pick one or the other, Zack Snyder's Justice League wins by a mile every day. Right then guys, thank you very much for tuning in and watching. Have you seen Zack Snyder's Justice League yet? Do let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, do give it a like, do subscribe to my channel, and I will see you soon.